All right, let's take a look at what is going on with this weird overflow issue in Squarespace 7.1. This one happens when you're working with Fluid Engine sections, you're looking at them on tablets, and you may not even have code applied to that section at all. What's happening here is a native issue. However, it only appears when you're using a specific setting in a certain way. Luckily, the fix for it is very simple and doesn't require code at all. So let me show you first what is going on. So here I have the site that I'm looking at on tablet view, and you can already see that there's a problem here. So here on the side, I have a button, and on this specific view and a little bit further down, that button gets completely cut off from this section. In the past, this overflow would be easier to see because there would be a horizontal scroll bar. However, with one of the latest updates, the content is now simply getting chopped off. So that can help hide the problem a little bit, but it doesn't really solve the issue. I want to show you how you can actually fix it. Now, if we take a look inside this section, you're going to see something kind of weird going on. If I send on the Fluid Engine container, which is the one that creates the grid where all of the items are going to be sitting in, you can see that this one is pretty much populated by a lot of purple space. The purple space represents actual space, like blank space or gaps that we have inside the grid. So if we were to compare this to another section down here that doesn't have that issue, you can see how the container in this section does allow us to see the content areas, which is the little blue squares that we see representing the cells of the grid. So the difference between how I have this section set up and this section at the top set up has to do with the gap of the section, the gap value that I'm using through the settings. If I take a look over here, you're going to see that right now I have my horizontal gap set to 50 pixels. That means that between each of the columns, I have 50 pixels of space. The problem is that when the screen shrinks down, those 50 pixels remain in place. What stretches out or reduces in size is the content area for each of the columns. So at some point, those 50 pixels are going to add up to something larger than the screen that you're using to look at the website. And that is exactly what is going on in this example. Those 50 pixels are creating a container that is too big to fit within this 831 pixel wide viewport. So therefore, it's creating an overflow. So as you can imagine, the way to fix this is to modify the value of the gap. If we go back and we keep this as 11, which is the default, or maybe something a little bit bigger. I actually don't like to go beyond 15 pixels because that starts creating the problem. So I usually just stick with the native 11 pixel width. And once we have that there and refresh the page, so now we can see that even when the content is super narrow because of the way that the grid works on tablets, we can see the button that we have here on the right side. And then of course, if we were to inspect the grid itself, we can see the actual cells that are part of the section and the gaps are no longer occupying the whole screen. All right, and that's it. That's everything that I have for you today. I really hope that you found this trick helpful, and I'm actually curious to know if you have experienced this before, so do let me know in the comments down below if this is something completely new to you or if you have dealt with it in the past. In any case, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.